Wherever the red dot goes, you bang. So Red Dot is a brand new 2021 Swedish thriller horror, and it is about a young couple who find out some pretty big news. And their relationship is kind of struggling. So the dude in the relationship tries to surprise his girlfriend with a, surprise camping trip. And so they go out and they're kind of out in the middle of the wilderness, and they had a run in with some not so savory folk in town, but they're trying to put that behind them, and they're out there hanging out. And whilst they are looking up at the sky and enjoying their idyllic getaway, a red dot appears on their clothing, and then the fun begins. Yeah, so, I mean, I'll say this. The film's called Red Dot, right? And I saw a little bit of the trailer, and the trailer shows, of course, the red dot being on you, and of course you would assume the red dot's from a gun. And so, with it being the title of the film, and with it being pretty heavily used in the trailer, I was like, all right, so this is going to be the majority of the film, is going to be them out there with a red dot that keeps appearing on them, and then, maybe this person or these people or whatever will shoot at them, kill people around them. This will be going on for a long period of time. The red dot thing makes up a very, very small portion of this film. Like 5 minutes. Like it's surprisingly, shockingly short. Now, I didn't really know where I stood on this movie while I was watching it. Towards the end, there was some things that were happening that I thought it was going to go one way, and so I was kind of like, all right, fuck this movie. But then they didn't go that way, and they went a different way, and I was like, okay, this movie's kind of redeemed itself. And then the very, very, very end, I was like, I'm not sure how I feel about that. So I was kind of all over the place with this movie. At the end of the day, though, I think I'll go with it was fine. It was a fine little forgettable thriller that has a pretty decent twist and definitely changes your perspective on everything. And I think that's its best part. But then how it's handled, I'm still kind of unsure about. But I think ultimately I like it. It's just, I haven't really, stewed on it much. But at the same time, I'm not going to. Like, I'll forget I watched this tomorrow. So to me, it's just forgettable. It's a gimmicky kind of film that throws in a twist. And they just don't really utilize the gimmick. Like, I really feel like they could have stretched the red dot thing out, especially since they titled the fucking movie this. And I just feel like this could have been more thrilling with that aspect. And, it doesn't really matter as long as your film's good. But I guess if you're going to make it the title of the film, maybe focus on it a little bit more. Just a little bit. But it's fairly predictable in places. And I can't really say I was super on board with the characters. And I feel like with them being kind of at odds with each other, I know that's supposed to make them a little bit more relatable and a little bit more like on their side, because it's like all these guys are going through a hard time. It sucks that they have to go through even a worse time. But the fact that they were so off as a couple really didn't add to the dramatic scenes at the end for me. Because I was like, well, I don't even really like you guys as a couple. I'm not even sure you guys should really be together, you know? And they try to sell you on their love in the very beginning, but it's very short lived, much like the red dot thing. And I just didn't get a great sense. And I think this movie, that would have been the most crucial element they could add to a film like this, is to make me genuinely care about them as a couple. Then start to show problems that arise in their relationship to where I'm like, fuck, that sucks that they fell apart. Like, I really liked them. And then to, kind of play with that throughout the movie, like, man, I hope they're okay. I hope they can get out of this so that they can mend their relationship, and then drop the bombs on me. And then I'll be like, fuck, now this changes how I feel about everything, kind of stuff. And because that connection wasn't made, uh, you know, I didn't I didn't really care for either of them even separately. So I sure as fuck ain't gonna care for them much when they're together. And that's the that's what keeps this movie from being really good, and it's just kind of okay. That for me. And then they could have stretched out the red dot stuff, made it a little bit more thrilling, made it a little bit more tense, edge of your seat kind of stuff. But, as I said, like, push comes to shove. If you got nothing else to watch, you're on Netflix. It's not bad. It's not bad. It's just kind of blah. But let me know if you disagree in any way. Adios.